It's another target.
You go, Paul.
With, I'm holding right shoulder.
Okay. Picking up. Hit. Good hit. Dude, the noise in that. It's just the way the wind catches it, I guess. Hit. Nice. You're
2 in a row.
Oh man, yeah.
Not
yeah.
bad.
That's badass. 3 in a row. Give me 1 mil left for win. Hey.
When are we going to do the Kevin Owens challenge here? You're not letting me away with that, are you?
Woo! Hit. Left 1 mil. Off the right. Go left 1 mil.
I pulled that one.
Hit. You pulled it into it.
If you've ever pulled a shot, but you still made that shot, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Guys, like and comment. The comment section is out of control. I will do nothing to control you guys. So do your own thing and do great things down in that comment section. I got nothing for you guys there. If you guys are looking to support the channel, the biggest support of the channel right now is Big Daddy Unlimited. Big Daddy Unlimited is like the Costco of the gun world. 99 cents to get in there. Super cheap things. Get in there, check it out. If you guys are looking for sick bags, plaid, you have Vertex, and of course, LAX ammunition, discount code GRANDTHUMB. Ladies, gentlemen, and my often forgotten, but not by me, C-130 Hercules, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty sick rifle, and that is going to be the LMT MARS-H. This one is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, however, it can easily swap to 308 and many others. So let's talk a little bit about that. Before we do, let's do my normal thing. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our full disclosures. So full disclosures, LMT, what is my relationship with them? I've received rifles from LMT before. So I did a review on the MARS-H that was in 5.56, and I'm doing the review on this. I've received those rifles from them. I've received M203s for them for a further review, so understand that relationship is there. There's nothing beyond that. There is no money or ammunition or anything like that. The ammunition has been provided for by my lovely Patreon people. Thank you to them. But I just like to be as clear as I can about my business relationships with these companies, so you understand if there's any personal biases going into these reviews. Now, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but it's important to me that you know these things. Okay, an important note about this rifle is that there's a very close relative from LMT called the L129A1 that is currently in service with the British military as a designated marksman's rifle, and that thing is sick. So these rifles are well proven. They're used in various militaries and law enforcement communities throughout the world. So there's not really a whole lot I can say to validate or invalidate these because they have already proven themselves in combat. But despite that, let's talk about what makes them what they are. So to start off with, tip to butt, like the Navy likes, muzzle devices. So The LMTs typically come with a birdcage type flash suppressor, but in this case I swapped it out for a Q muzzle device because I want to run a Q suppressor. I'm just doing a lot of evaluation on that particular suppressor. Obviously you can add whatever muzzle device you want. The sky's the limit when it comes to that, just as long as it is the correct caliber for the caliber that you are shooting. But I'm going to pop that suppressor off because this is already a very heavy setup and I want to make it a little bit easier to maneuver around. So with the suppressor on, obviously no problems there. These guns are made to run with suppressors on or off. They work very well. We'll talk more about the gas system and kind of some of the things that they've done there. But in any case, moving down to the barrel. There is so much to be said about the barrel of the LMT. I don't know that I can quite put everything into words that I need to, other than to say that it is incredibly innovative, incredibly accurate, and a great return to zero when it comes to the barrel. So one of the coolest things about the LMT is that you have a quick change barrel feature. So you can easily just pop off these two screws right here. You have a steel plate to protect the aluminum forgings of the upper right here, and then pop those two screws out. They're of equal length. You can easily remove the barrel. Once you remove the barrel, you can easily swap in a new one. So right here I have a 13-inch 308 barrel. She's dummy thick, and all I have to do is pop off those screws, put that in. No bolt change, nothing like that. Same magazines, and it will shoot. No, don't have to change out the buffers or anything like that. It's properly gassed for this rifle, which is awesome. So it's very easy to swap between calibers and everything else. And another great thing about it is return to zero. These rifles and all the science and engineering and shit that they put into it makes it so it can very easily return to zero. This is, of course, incredibly important on a battle rifle where you're needing this to just run. You need to be able to just pop that barrel and do it. And what's cool is it can be done at the user level. You don't have to take this to an armor or anything like that, or have a lot of special tools. It's a very simple, very innovative design. There's so much that I want to say about these barrels, but suffice it to say, with the 6.5 Creedmoor barrel that I have in this particular setup, is phenomenally accurate. I can't say enough things about how accurate this barrel is. At 100, I was easily printing sub-MOA groups, which is nothing to write home about. I was using pretty good ammo, but this thing was easily doing about 0.6 MOA pretty consistently. My ammo that I was using was also incredibly consistent. So understand, if you're not using good ammo, you're not going to have good consistency in your groupings. So the ammo is good, the barrel's great, and that came together to make for very tiny, very tight groups. Easily was putting this rifle out past 1,000 yards. Just absolutely no problem. This thing is an absolute beast. These barrels are truly incredibly accurate. If you're doing any type of work out to 1,000 or plus, you're definitely going to be happy with the type of accuracy you'll be getting from the LMT, long as you're feeding it good ammo. I would definitely recommend hand loading for the 6.5, especially if you're shooting at that type of distance, just for consistency's sake. But a very cool design. A lot of engineering went into this, and they did a phenomenal job when it comes to this rifle and its accuracy. I just can't say enough good things about it.
Split the difference. Hit. There you go. But you can see where your impacts are, and you can adjust really quickly.
Yeah.
And then if we had, like I was saying, if we had two guys on the same guns, you could shoot and I could shoot a second later and adjust from your wind call, and you double your chances of hitting the target. It makes so much sense.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So another great thing is the rail. What is cool about the rail is that it is continuous to the upper. It is a monolithic upper. So what that means is everything is just continuous. What's cool about that, first off, is that if I need to put my optic at a certain position, I don't have to worry about bridging the gap between the upper receiver and a rail and possibly causing accuracy issues. So that is one good part about it. Also, it's a very, very strong platform. This is a incredibly strong military rated rail. So when it comes to something that can take knocks, be dropped, and that type of stuff and still retain zero, you can absolutely depend on this. And this thing is just phenomenal at that. Now, we do have QD mounts. We do have QD slots up here at the front. You can see them right there. And then we have M-LOK going all around with Picatinny at the top. So a little bit about some of the stuff that I have mounted to the front of this, because I know you guys are surely going to ask about that. First off, on the right-hand side right here, this rifle is primarily set up for doing long-range night shooting. So I have a PVS 27 that typically mounts out here. If I need a little bit of extra illumination, I have this Purse right here up the front. So it's a Purse 3. It's a Russian IR unit. Why am I using it? I'm doing a lot of testing on the Purse right now. This is going to be a part of that testing. So we have this. It has a very powerful illuminator. I can easily push out pretty fucking far with that thing. On the other side, I have the pressure pad on that, so I can activate it when I'm shooting from the prone and that type of thing. At the bottom here, I want to give a big shout out to Area 419 for supporting me and giving me a lot of support for this video. So this rail, this bottom rail is Arca rail, and it is from them. Very well made, well machined. They put my little logo down there. Thanks guys, I didn't ask for it. I did buy the bipod from them, but they made the Arca rail for me, so very kind of them. But in any case, Arca rails are wonderful. And I have that with a Atlas bipod mated to the bottom right here. Atlas bipods are wonderful. There are many great bipods out there, including the Harris and the Atlas, but I chose the Atlas for this video, for this particular rifle, and it has been phenomenal. So choose a bipod depending on what type of capabilities that you need. But for me, the Atlas worked incredibly well. So we have all that. So that is the setup that I have on this particular rifle right here. Let's go ahead and let's move back from there. So an important note about this rifle is that this is a heavy build. So a lot of people buy rifles like these and they're like, I'm gonna use it in CQB. Probably not the best option. You can absolutely put a 13-inch barrel on this and make it into more of a battle rifle, CQB type weapon. But I think where these rifles really shine is in the long range category because they are heavy designs. So with the original 16-inch barrel on this, that's in .308 caliber, this was around 10 pounds about. That's unloaded. And then with the 20-inch barrel on there, optic, rails, bipod, everything else loaded, like we were getting pretty heavy on this. This is a heavy bitch. But the good thing about that is that when I'm shooting long range, that helps dampen almost all of the recoil out of this thing. When you shoot it, you get that, momentary recoil from it, and you can watch the vapor trail off your round as it travels, 1,000 yards plus. So it's incredibly easy to shoot at range because of that weight. So there's good and there's bad, because the bad, of course, is that you have to hump this thing around everywhere, which is always a bitch. But in any case, I really do, I can definitely appreciate the weight, and I can also see the criticism of the weight on these types of systems. But for a military system that is meant to be able to get beat up, take hits, and just operate in a variety of different environments, I think that the weight is necessary on a rifle of this caliber. Moving back from the rail right there, we're gonna go to our bolt. So the bolt on the LMT MARS-H in 6.5 is incredible. Hell, we can do an entire video on the bolt itself, so I don't want to get too deep into it, other than to say that when LMT designed this system, it was designed to be able to work in semi and full auto. Full auto on a .308 is not easy on a system. So with the bolts, what they did is, because you can go anywhere from a 20-inch barrel in 6.5 to a 13-inch barrel in .308, the rates of fire that you can get in automatic between those two barrel lengths is enormous. So the problem that can plague some rifles is that the extractor won't have enough strength to pop that spent casing out. So what LMT has done is they've added 2 extractors to their bolt. So when this thing's firing, it is absolutely yeeting that spent brass out. It's making sure that it is gone. In addition to that, you have vents for a lot of the gas. It's actually moved forward a little bit to ensure that you vent a little bit more gas than you typically see on like your M110s and your SR-25s. Not commenting on which one is better, but mainly pointing out that some very good things were done in the designs of this particular rifle. In addition to that, the bolt carrier group is chrome lined. It's an incredibly reliable, incredibly robust system. So in my time with this, here comes the round counts, right? So with this rifle, I did 500 rounds of .308, and then I did another 1,000 rounds of 6.5. And at no point did I ever clean this. Even when I first received it, I just wanted to see how well or how long it would go. It absolutely chewed through everything. It got lube, but no cleaning. It just had to put the lotion on its skin or it gets a hose again. I did have one malfunction on the rifle, and that was actually due to the ammunition. It was a dead primer. Tried multiple times to ignite the primer through a variety of rifles. It didn't work. That round was just dead. That happens, not the fault of the rifle. The rifle absolutely chewed and powered through everything. A lot of people have asked, why don't you have a forward assist on a .308? Absolutely not necessary. This thing's got some freaking oomph behind it. Another great thing about the bolt carrier group is that you have a captive firing pin retaining pin. This is something that the SR-25/M110s historically lacked. So it is a great thing to have to ensure that you're not bending it inside the receiver when you're putting it back together, or you're not losing it or anything like that. In any case, another great design choice from LMT. So I won't go too much deeper into the internals of that. Again, that's not my expertise, other than to say that the machine work and everything that has gone into the LMT, both exterior and interior on the bolt carrier groups, has been absolutely phenomenal. So I can't say enough good things about it. So we can see the finish right here on this rifle. It is a nice peanut butter color. Obviously this rifle was not made for the Marine Corps. So with the Marines, we typically like to keep our rifles black or some color that's far away from a food color. We don't want to confuse them too much. Life is very simple for them. So kill this, storm this beach, kill that, drink the blood of your enemies. Anything beyond that is getting a little confusing to them. So you want to keep it a little bit simple for them. All right, talking about the magazines. It does take SR-25 magazines, which are excellent. You have both the Knights Armament SR-25 magazines right here. And of course, we have the Magpuls. And of course, the Magpuls come with 30 rounders. And do you need 30 rounds in a designated marksman's rifle? Yes. So the magazine well is beveled, very easy to insert it in there, which is what we want. We don't want to make it hard to insert things in. But no problems with any of the magazines I've ever tried. I prefer the Knights Armament magazines, but they are prohibitively expensive. I definitely recommend probably the Magpuls in most cases. But I really like metal mags. Probably a little character flaw, but that's what we have. Okay, moving from there. Controls. A great thing about the controls on the LMT and MARS-H is that they are ambidextrous. So on the left-hand side, we have our typical AR type controls. We have a paddle release right here. We can lock the bolt back. But we also have a magazine eject on the left-hand side. Okay, now if we go to the right side right here, and we have a bolt release right here on the right-hand side. And then we have, of course, our normal magazine release. So very similar to AR controls, very similar to modern day SR-25s and M110s. If you've fired and shot on those platforms, this is going to be very, very familiar to you. Safety selector is ambidextrous, of course. A lot of guys, when they shoot, they tend to ride their thumb on the same side. There's a variety of reasons to do that. I'm not going to go too much into it. Again, my classical training is not in long range shooting. I have had training from some great guys like Kevin P. Owens and stuff from Fieldcraft Survival, but in no ways do I consider myself an expert on it. But in any case, there is definitely a reason to have that ambidextrous safety on these types of rifles. All right, on the grip, we have a great grip angle. LMT made some great choices when choosing the grip, so can't fault them at all for that. So we've ignored it long enough. We have the trigger on the LMT. So the LMT trigger is a military type trigger, but let's go ahead and give it its shot and put on a little Unchained Melody and go set trigger together. So go ahead and put your finger right over mine. Listen to the music. All right, so we have a typical M16 type military trigger. So we have a 2-stage. So that first stage, pushing past it, it's about maybe 2 pounds, maybe 3 pounds, about 3 millimeters of play. Okay. Once I hit that second wall, putting about, ooh, that's nice, about maybe 5 pounds. The second stage is maybe 2 pounds once you get into it. Feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and feel the reset. Okay, letting that forward, about 3 millimeters. Yep, and I hit that. I'm right at that second stage. That's actually pretty nice. So everything's said and done. The trigger, although it is around 5 to 6 pounds with everything put together, in reality, when you're firing it and you're letting off on that reset, you're typically looking at about maybe a 3-pound pull, maybe 4-pound pull, somewhere right around there. And it's a very crisp let off, about 2 millimeters of pull. So it feels pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed with the LMT trigger. I know a lot of people have said that they don't like the trigger on the LMT. Maybe it's because I put so many rounds through it, but it is broken in very nicely. Very impressed with the trigger on the LMT. I understand with military type triggers that they need to be drop safe, so you're not going to have as light of a triggers as you typically want from, like, you know, your race guns and everything like that. But I can definitely appreciate the work that went into the LMT trigger. So good on them. All right, we have our charging handle, ambidextrous, either side to unlock that. Works very well. I have no complaints about the charging handle. Obviously, I love the Radians, but that being said, they've done a very good job with the charging handle on their rifles. So great job to them. All right, moving back from there, we have our receiver extension and buttstock. So the buttstock is from LMT. It is their precision rifle stock. Typically, these come with their normal SOP-mod enhanced stocks, which are awesome as well. But if you're going to be doing any type of long-range shooting, you probably want something a little bit more tailored for that. So the precision rifle stock is really nice. I've really enjoyed my time with it so far. We have an adjustable cheek height and adjustable length of pull. And on top of that, we have a little scoop back here. So when you're holding your sandbag, you can kind of wrap your hand right around it, and it works really well. It's incredibly comfortable to sit on this in the prone for hours upon hours just drilling targets. So they did a really good job with the buttstock on this particular rifle. Okay, before we go too far, we have a Nightforce optic. It's a 4-32. If you're gonna be shooting long range, it's important that you have a good optic. So Nightforce a little bit more pricey, but absolutely worth it. And this optic performed extremely well with everything we threw at it. I absolutely adore this rifle. It is one of my favorite DMR type designs, and I think they did a phenomenal job with it. If you're looking for a rifle in a 308 and a 6.5 caliber, I don't believe in any case you can go wrong with the LMT. You'll be very happy if you get your hands on this, and I think you'll be astounded with the type of accuracy that you'll see out of the system. So get out there, try it out. Obviously, it's not going to work for everyone, but here's the thing. You know what I'm going to say? Unless you have training, it doesn't matter. So you could have the coolest rifle, but if you don't have the training to know how to use it, it isn't going to matter. So get out there and get training, ladies and gentlemen. Tons of great companies to get training from. We have Cogworks, Bear Solution, Haley Strategic, Fieldcraft Survival, Pat McNamara. So many great guys out there with great experiences who are willing to teach you. So get out there and become the weapon. Because as cool as these weapons are, if you don't know how to use them, they're absolutely useless to you. So get out there and get that training. Make yourself better. Become dangerous. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. I've got nothing else for you. All right, last thing for you guys. So, getting serious, I guess. There is a lot of anger in the world right now. And I'm not even talking about riots that are going on right now or anything like that, but there's just a lot of anger in general. Going back to disputes between various peoples and various countries, and it just goes so far back, centuries, hundreds of years for some of these disputes. And I guess I'm going to reiterate what I've reiterated in the past, and that is we need more love and more forgiveness in the world. I'm not even saying this in a religious sense or anything like that, but I truly do believe that the world needs more of that. So if there's anything that I can tell you guys to do, it's maybe take a look at your life and something that you're angry about. And is the mental energy worth it? Is it something that you can't just forgive and move on from? Because that stuff weighs you down. It weighs down, your soul or something like that. So just love more, guys. And let's try to move together as everything. Because something phenomenal happened this week. 2 U.S. astronauts were launched into space. And that's fucking incredible. And it's the juxtaposition between that and what's happening in the world is a true tragedy. But I do believe as we look forward, as we forgive, and as we press forward, that we can do many great things. And I know that's going way beyond the scope of this, but I'd like to share my thoughts with you guys because I love you guys and I care about you guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys have gotten this far, you know that we're going to plug our normal thing, which is survival dispatch. I used to be a survival instructor. It is a imperative skill. Survival Dispatch is a great resource of survival information. It is some really good stuff. Highly recommend that you get in there. It's a subscription type service, but it is absolutely necessary. There are so many things that we have forgotten from the past because we've gotten so urbanized, and that's fine. It's just, man, those survival skills can be so important in a variety of situations. Ladies and gentlemen, last thing, Patreon. Thank you so much. We're in a new studio and we're doing wonderful things. Can't thank you guys enough. For real though, I love you guys. I appreciate every single one of you, even the weird ones. Take care of yourselves.